Only a while at first these heavenly states, these large white poised upliftings could endure. See, that is the condition. Now, that is the fact of life. That is fact of existence. Yes, he has now such great experiences, the silence and the absolute and all those things. He is newborn, he sees differently. But as far as he is concerned, he has taken a mortal birth. He has taken a birth in the inconscience. So the inconscient stuff, the subconscious part of his being, they are still there. And they cannot go away just like that. They cannot just go away like that. And they are not yet open. They are not ready to receive those higher powers and accept them in the working condition here. Therefore, only a while, at first, these heavenly states, at first, it means that thing also will disappear. Soon, that is going to disappear. These heavenly states, these large, white poised upliftings could endure. What perfect language, you see. Complete. You see, this is not just for the sake of poetry. These large, white poised uplifting could endure. The material thing is, these large, I am, white poised, spondy, uplift, I am, ings could, Pyrrhic, endure, again I am. So that is the metrical scanning of this line, you see. Now, this large, etc., they are not just to fill up for the sake of metrical reasons, but then they also have substance, they have contents, and the rhythm is something of a different kind altogether. This large, see, and this, as I said, this large is a very important word. You can't change that thing. You can't make it big, you can't make it huge, you can't make it massive. See, it has to be large alone, you see. It's this huge, wide, you see, it doesn't work that way as poetry, you see. This large, white poise, uplifting could endure. Yeah, because the force of inconscience is not so small. Even if the divine comes, he has to suffer for that. See, it demands its own power. In other words, it is good that the force of inconscience is so strong, because against that, the divine power can also weigh up himself and build up it. The highest power can then come. These large, white poised upliftings could endure. The high and luminous tension breaks too soon. The body's stone stillness and the life's hushed trance. The breathless might and calm of silent mind, the breathless might and calm of silent mind are slowly they feel as sets a golden day. The high and luminous tension. Well, of course it is high because he's talking about those high things. It is of course luminous also, but what does that tension mean? Tension means conflict, strength, struggle, see, that kind of a thing. You see, normally that breaks too soon. No, but then that because I am not convinced about that conventional sense of the word tension, you see. It breaks too soon. It doesn't mean much. I think the word tension here has a different kind of a connotation. See, in the electrical engineering, you call high tension, high voltage, high power, you see, high tension. So it is that tension, that high power, you see. The high and luminous high power breaks too soon, you see, obviously, you see. Tension is not strain and struggle and conflict, that kind of a thing, you see. I will consider it as something which is really very powerful, voltage, high voltage, in the electrical sense, the tension, you see. High voltage transmission lines, tension, high tension lines, you call it high tension lines, you see, transmission line. High tension breaks too soon. In fact, if in a liquid there is the presence of a gas, then that state is also called tension. That state is also called. For instance, usually some gas in the blood, fluid, blood. Then the medical term is, it is high tension, hypertension. Hypertension, you see, high tension. So high tension here is actually hypertension, you see, of that kind, you see, hypertension, you see. In the blood vessel, in the blood fluid, if there is the presence of a gas, then it becomes a high tension, you see. So it is like that here also in this case. See, his body, his physical thing is there, but there is so much of power in him there that it becomes kind of a high tension. See. So you can have this tension in both the senses, in the medical sense as well as in the electrical sense, you see. The high and dubious tension breaks too soon, the body's stone stillness and the life's hushed trance, the breathless might and calm of silent mind. So body is still, life is in a state of hush, mind is silent. All the three conditions, the physical, the mental, the vital. The body's stone stillness and the life's hushed trance. In other words, he is talking of the physical nature in which you are born, the physical, the vital, the mental, you see. It is that which you have to recognize here. Or slowly they fail as sets a golden day. You see, you have not left anything undefined. Body, physical, life, vital, mind, mental, all the things are present there, you see, in our case. That is how we are built up, you see. And it is that breaks too soon. The restless nether members tire of peace. Yeah, you get kind of I mean, it looks insipid, same condition. I mean, if you are, for instance, all the while in the state of, I mean, you can't keep on eating sweet all the while. You see, you become tired of eating sweet all the while. Ice cream, you can't keep on eating ice cream all the while. You need a little bit of change. See, it becomes different things. See, the restless member, neither lower member. These are the low. He has defined already the neither members. The subconscious, the physical, the vital, the mental, the lower of part of the member tire of peace, you know, the nostalgia of old little woes and joy. So they are very happy. They want some little grief, little joy, little happiness, little conflict, little struggle. You see, little harmony. They want that kind of a thing. They become happy. You see. In fact, that is what one wonders, how can the gods remain very happy all the while in the state of blissfulness? They are in the state of blissfulness all the while, yeah. So they come and start playing mischief here, you see. The restless need remember, tired of pain, a nostalgia of old little woes and joy. So that kind of little you fall back upon them. Ashwapati is still a part of that thing. He has assumed that body, and those members of his body, they want that thing back again. You see, need to. Yeah, habit. Yeah, that's right. Habit is a thing which can never be removed. Remove H, a bit is there. Remove A, bit is there. Remove B, it is there. You see. So that habit is always there. And the worst habit is the habit of dying. Death is a habit. Death is a habit for us to die. And it is that habit we have to remove. And unless we remove that habit of death, you cannot really make progress. So we are stuck with the habit of death. We want to die. Because we think that our progress lies only through death. The restless neither members tire of peace, a nostalgia of old little woes and joy, a need to call back small familiar selves, to trade the accustomed and inferior way. Yeah, you see, we want mud and slime and not only green gardens and things like that, but also we want those things, you see. The need to rest in natural poise to fall, you see. As a child who learns to walk can walk not long. So, in order to walk, to learn to walk, we have to fall. The child will learn only by falling. It is in that way we want to fall, and then only we can perhaps walk. Replay the Titan will forever to climb. Replay the Titan will forever to climb. On the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. On the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. On the hearts, that is one foot, on the heart, altar, second foot, dim, third foot, sacred fire, third foot. I'm sorry. On the first foot, I will call it trachea, because there is stress on the heart's alt, that is spondy. Dim, that is again an I am. The sacred is an I am. A fire, an I am. So you have got here trachea, you have got here a spondy, and then 3 I ams, this line. On the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. Now, the dim here is not a verb. The dim here is not a verb, you see.
It's not a verb.
Pardon me?
It's not a verb.
It's not a verb here. It is an epithet. It is an epithet. On the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. See, had it been a verb, then should have been dims.
Yeah.
It should have been bigger fire, sacred fire. It should have been dim. Huh? Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is not a verb here. Yeah, it's an adjective. Yeah. Why? See, it is understood here. It is understood here that the sacred fire becomes dim. Is dim. You have to supply the verb here, is. Is dim. On the heart's altar is dim the sacred fire. You have to supply the verb is. Or become dim, gets dim. You have to supply some verb there. The construction means that. And it is perfectly legitimate kind of a construction. In the context of these lines, you have to supply that verb, you see here. Now, on the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. This fire is dim. It is not blazing, golden blazing. It's not that. No, it's not bright enough, you see. Because of the members in which we are having, you see. In fact, this is a summary of all things. Our build-up, our consciousness, the stuff which is there, they had dimmed the fire, the Agni, which is burning in us, you see, completely, you see. The goldenest blaze of Agni is not present here because of these members here. The physical, the vital, the mental, the subconscious, the inconscient. Because these are present there, therefore Agni has become dim. It is not in its full blaze. Actually, it has become dim in the sense that there is a kind of covering. Agni himself is always bright, but what we see here is only a dim part of it, you see. Now here again, see beautiful, the Titans ever to climb, okay, that is the vital force, titanic force, which wants to climb is here. But on the heart's altar, this is a perfect image of the divine Agni which is present in us. Perfect image of divine Agni in heart, Hridaya. In the Vedic phrase is, in the cave of the heart, Hridaya Guha, in the cave of the heart is present the divine Agni. He is the immortal in the mortal. Amartyam Amarteshu. He is immortal in the mortal. He is present in the area, but he is not fully effective. He is not glutinous in his operative dynamics because of our physical nature, our vital nature, our mental nature. Nothing is not. In fact, that is the kind of work which has to do. You see. In fact, that is the kind of work for which Agni is present, that these things get kindled by his presence there. So this is, now, this line here, he uses the word altar. He doesn't say on the heart's, in the heart's cave. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say in the heart's deep cave, dim the sacred fire. He doesn't say that. It is in the altar, it is the yajna, it is the sacrifice which is constantly going on. Sacrifice, yajna. You offer prayers to Agni, oblations to Agni constantly. Therefore, in the altar, you pray, you offer him something constantly. So the altar is very important here. In other words, this Agni, he is, in fact, the Veda says, he is Yajna Bandhu. He is the Yajna Bandhu means brother. He is one who is our brother doing Yajna in us. He is doing Yajna in us, Yajna Bandhu, you see. Our friend who is doing Yajna in us, you see. So this altar has that connotation, has the Vedic sense of the Yajna which is constantly going on. In other words, the inconscient stuff from which we have come, the vital, the physical, the vital, the mental and all that thing, cannot get purified, cannot become responsive, cannot respond to the spiritual thing unless this yajna is constantly done. Unless the sacrifice is constantly performed, this cannot get purified. Or in other words, what is this fire? The mystic fire, what she would call otherwise mystic fire, the sacred fire, the mystic fire, the holy fire. See, these two words, altar and sacred, they go together. They have kind of a religious connotation, a holy connotation, both of them, you see. But here the sense is of the yogic tapasya which is being done. The Vedic tapasya, the Vedic rishi, that is how they used to do. They used to kindle the fire and offer the prayers to the fire, you see. And then they used to make progress because of that fire, that Agni. He, the Yajna Bandhu, he becomes their friend in that case, you see. And he takes them forward, you see. Replay the Titan will forever. Now, in other words, this fire is there to purify us of all the dross or the subconscious which is there in us. The physical, the mental, the vital, which is not progressive, which does not go forward. It is that which is constantly being purified by this fire. The role of fire is, in fact, one of the roles of the fire is, in fact, to purify. And the Vedic Rishi would call it Agni Pavaka, Agni the purifier. So here he is performing the duty of Agni the purifier, Agni Pavaka, so that the lower members become pure and they can open themselves to the powers and possibilities of the spirit. That is what Agni is doing. Or if you have to change, we have to describe it in another word. Fire is of course the purifier. He is also doing the yajna. Fire is a kind of an alchemic agent to transmute what is base, what is degenerate into pure gold. The alchemy of transmutation is performed by Agni. Our members, see, that is why Ashwapati says that only a while they could stay, they are not becoming permanent. So the Agni power has to fully come into play, you see, for that. On the hearth altar dim the sacred fire.